Hello everyone and welcome to the Microsoft Subject Series. My name is Niall and I'm going to be working with you today on a couple of fantastic websites that can support your lessons for the social studies parts of all of your lessons. I was feeling a wee bit kind of Microsofty today, so I thought I'd chuck on the jumper. It's a wee bit chilly up here in Aberdeen. If you are watching us live, please do pop in the comments. If you have used any of the tools that we're going to show you today, we've got some really inventive and fantastic tools for you to try out. Today we're going to be having a look at the National Library of Scotland for our interactive maps that we can use with our students. We're going to be having a look at a kind of tool called Gogan too. And the last thing is we're going to be starting to create some historical, excuse me, that's the phone vibrating there. We are going to be having a look at totally lost my train of thought. Some historical images. We're going to be recreating some historical images using AI on Canva as well. So without further ado, I always forget this. I need to show the banner here. So at the end of today's session, if you wouldn't mind just hitting up the bit.ly link there. So it's bit.ly/TAS-SOC for social 365. Okay, and from there it's just a really quick feedback form. We'd really appreciate it if you were able to just kind of let us know what your favorite parts were of today, and if you've taken anything away from today's session, and we reckon that you will. There's loads of things we're going to cover today. So we've got our Twitter handles as well down here. So if you are if you do have an education Twitter, let us know, tweet us, show us kind of you using the tools with your classes. We've got TA Scotland and we've got my educator one here at Niall Ridgway. We would love to see how you use the tools, and we would love to see just hear a wee bit of feedback online. So yeah, please do tag us in anything that you do. But without further ado, let's jump into today's session. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. The same as always, I just need to swap the screens around, and I'm going to start to present. Share my top screen. Okay, and here we are. Fantastic. Okay, so we are having a look at the National Library of Scotland's maps here right now. There's a few things that I want to show you. The first one is the map finder, and then the second one is the side-by-side viewer. So we're going to go to map finder first of all. And from here, it always pops up with this wee side bit. Come on. From here, we've got two things that we can do. The first one, now, my zoom in is very strong when I do it using my mouse. I've got my mouse here. The first thing that we want to do is we want to set it to marker pin. You can do it without lines, but it's very busy. So it's a wee bit harder to find those maps, I find personally, using the marker outlines. So we're going to go with marker pin instead. And from there, I'm going to start using this zoom in and out here because it's way too fast for me. From here, we can start to have a look at our maps. Now, the first map that it gives us here is our kind of up-to-date modern map that we're using. And for example, we've got Edinburgh here. We've got, we can head to Alloa, over to Glasgow, just kind of a standard map as you will. But on the right-hand side, you'll notice we have the results for the number of different maps that are available for that area. So here we go. We can see all the different maps that are available for this area. We've got nearly 360. So we're not going to show you all of them. But what I am going to do here is I'm going to put my map marker in Edinburgh. And from here on the left-hand side, now we can choose our different map types. So you can go for an ordnance survey maps, you can go for your topography, different maps, and also you can filter by keyword as well, which is pretty cool. The thing that I would love to show you though is filter by date. So depending on what you're having a look at with your class, maybe it's a history lesson, maybe it's geography you're wanting to have a look at, you can filter by date. So maybe in your history lesson, you're having a look at maybe the Victorians. So you're wanting a map maybe around about here-ish. And so it's going to then show us different maps of this area based on the time period that you are interested in. Now, look, we've still got 120 maps available to us. So I'm just going to click on one of these. Let's go for what one looks good. There we go. So here we have our map where we can zoom in, we can play around with this map, we can move around by clicking and dragging. We can have a look for different landmarks. So it might be a nice idea to get your students to find different historical areas using the old maps. Maybe they could go and find kind of where they are now and have a look at their area on the old map. So for example, let's head to, have we got, I'm trying to find, where would Edinburgh Castle be? It's somewhere in here, isn't it? Castle. There we are. So there we go, Edinburgh Castle. So you could go and get your students to find different areas. Maybe you could have it as like a hide and seek type thing, where you find different words that are out there, different places. So there's loads of different kind of maps that are available to us. I'm going to head back. And just to show you this works, I'm going to head up to, oh, that zoom. let's go to Inverness instead. So we've got loads of maps available to us here. We've still got nearly 40 different maps, and we can have a look at the different areas. So let's find one that's got Inverness in it. There we go. This one has Inverness. And we can also see Loch Ness all the way down here. And that'll be Inverness around about this area here. So it's a great way for you to discover old maps with your students, have a look at the area around them, have a look at kind of the history of the world around them. Okay, so we're going to head back now, and I am going to, we're going to go back to map images. Okay, now on the right hand side here, we have our side-by-side viewer. Now, I really like this one. This is one of my favorite things, using the National Library of Scotland's maps. So I can, on the right hand side, I get two mouses, two clickers, essentially, cursors. And I can now zoom in to this map of Scotland. On the left, we have our old map. On the right, we have our up-to-date current map. Now, it's nice because if I head, I'll put my actual cursor over, we can use different maps that are available to us. So we do have access to the Bing maps. There's my link into Microsoft. So we do have our Bing maps that we can use. So we've got the hybrid Bing map there. So you can see all the roads that are available. We've got kind of a wee bit of information about the different roads. We have our satellite images from Bing, and we've also got our Bing road as well. So just the roads there that are available to us. You know what? I didn't show you something using the maps earlier. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to just save that for a wee second, so don't forget. So what we can now do is, on the left-hand side, we can select the different maps that we want available. So let's go for Scotland, and we can then select a different map based on the area that we're in. So here we have, where we're in Fife at the moment. So we've got a map there of Scotland at that time. This is what Scotland looked like. Let's go for Hills from 1908. There we go. We've got information, and we can follow it both on the right-hand side with our up-to-date Bing map, and then on our left-hand side as well with the old map as well. So it's just a really nice way for you to explore the area, zoom in, see different areas, and yeah, just have a look side by side for the current image and the older image as well. The thing that I forgot to show you, which I love with the map finder, is when I find way too fast. Let's come into Scotland. Let's zoom. There we go. If I head to any of these maps here, that one doesn't matter which one I head to. Oops. Let's set our, there we go. Viewing greater detail. We can share this map down at the bottom. So this is how you can get your maps out to your students and your classes. So all we need to do is copy the link to this page. It's going to give us a link there up at the top. So we can copy that, Control-C to copy, Control-V, stick it in your Teams or stick it into a OneNote notebook, anywhere that your students are going to be able to access that. And then they all have access to the map that you are using. So yes, that was just kind of my way of showing that you can use the map on Teams. Down at the bottom left, you can also draw on this map, which is really cool. So if you were wanting to circle, how do we do this? There we go. If you're wanting to point to a specific area, you can actually kind of use these maps and edit them that are like in live time with your students. Stick that up on the interactive whiteboard, and then they've all got access to see exactly where you're wanting them to have a look. Okay, so those are the National Library of Scotland's maps. I'm going to close these down just now. And the next thing I'm going to show you is a website called imaginaire.cc, and this is called GoGan 2. Now, this is in beta. It's absolutely fine. What the first steps that you need to do is on the left hand side, just in general, you need to scroll down to, by using the app, you agree. Essentially, we're not going to upload anything, so everything's fine, there's no issues. But if you do upload anything, then NVIDIA may store, use, or redistribute. But just don't upload anything, and then you'll be good. Okay, so we're going to have a think about maybe a story your class has been having a look at. Maybe it's kind of a piece of geography that you're wanting to have a look at. Maybe it's kind of like the seas and maybe some cliffs and some oceans. we're going to recreate that, and we're going to see if we can create an image using AI that replicates the topic that you're having a look at. So on the left-hand side, these are all our drawing tools. So ground, we're going to include some, let's go to landscape first, and we'll include the sky. That's this blue bit here. We'll just make sure we've covered every kind of inch there. Then on the left-hand side, we're going to go to mountain, maybe get a smaller brush, and I'm going to include a little mountain in here. Okay, there's my mountain. I'm just drawing it in. Get another one, and I'll color that in just so it looks a wee bit nicer. We can then put some snow on top of our mountain. Boop, boop. And we now want some water as well. So I'm going to increase my, brush size. I'm clicking the wrong thing. There we go, brush size. And we've got, there we go, the bigger brush. We can now draw in maybe our loch that you're having a look at, maybe a lake, maybe you're looking at kind of the mouth of the river. Could use this for so many different things. We are then going to include some ground for our students to have a look at. So let's put in some gravel. So we'll have maybe a path going alongside the river. And let's decrease the brush size, and we'll add in a little bit of mud as well for them. Let's put in a flower. Boop. Some flowers just lining the path beside the mud. And then the last thing we're going to put in is second last thing is some dirt. So let's just increase that brush size and add in a load of dirt in here. Actually, we might have to cover up the flowers. Let's put the flowers back in. Plants, flowers. Those are big flowers. A wee bit smaller. Fantastic. And then we can add in some clouds as well. Let's add some clouds. Now, up at the top, we've got our kind of create arrow. Oh, terms and conditions. Need to tick already. We're going to go to create. Let's create our image, and you will see on the right-hand side, there we go. We have our image created. So using AI, we've been able to actually create something using just our simple drawings. This is a great way if you're wanting to kind of explore how kind of rivers look and paths, different kind of geographical terms. You can get your students to create those. We've got our mountains in there, our clouds. You could be discussing what type of clouds these are that's been put in, the flowers, the paths, all sorts. So there's so many different things that you could do with your students. Then all you need to do is hit save, and you can download this image, or you can take a screenshot, stick it in your Teams, stick it in your OneNote, and then you've got evidence of your learning. Yes, so that's just kind of a nice wee thing that you can do with your students. And the last thing I want to show you is how to take historical images and kind of update them. So again, we're using AI to support us with this. So I've got a couple of examples here. So I've typed in Winston Churchill on a laptop. So he's using a laptop. We've got a Victorian on a mobile phone, Mary Queen of Scots on a motorbike. And then the last one that we've got as well is a T-Rex in a paddling pool. So I've taken some kind of historical figures, historical contexts, and I've just kind of modernized them. So we're having a bit of fun with digital tools and creating kind of creating images using the context of social studies. To get here, all I've done is I've logged into Canva. Remember, if you're using Canva, you can get a free account with your educator email address. And then on the left-hand side, we've got our apps. We then have text to image. And from here, I'm just going to hit start over because I've created them before. You can start to create your image. So I'm going to go for, let's go, if anybody in the comments has any ideas, pop it into the comments. If you've got one, I'll get back to that if anybody does comment anything. But I'm going to go for, let's go for Triceratops. A Triceratops, let's say eating an ice cream. Now, it does kind of take a wee minute, so you might have to kind of redo them a couple of times. From there, you can choose, do you want it to kind of look like a drawing, 3D pattern? I'm just going to leave it as is. It kind of creates a photo style. And then square, and then create your image. And from there, we'll see what it creates. Come on. That's pretty close. It's not too bad. This one's a bit more like a a hippopotamus, really, with only 2 horns on their triceratops. But that's right. So like I said, sometimes it takes a wee minute and you've got to redo them. Let's try creating again, see what it comes up with. Maybe my wording is a little bit off. I could change that wording, but it's just a fun activity for your students. So you're learning about dinosaurs. There we go. Where's the ice cream though? Maybe you're learning about dinosaurs. Maybe you're learning about suffragettes. Maybe you're learning about Victorians, Mary Queen of Scots, William Wallace, these kind of things. Try to include these contexts in your creations, and you can use Canva to do so using AI. So it's just a fun wee activity for you to create with your students. Once you've done that, once you've created your images, all you need to do is go to share and then download them as a PNG. Just do one at a time. So current page is that, turn them all off, current page. And then ping it onto your Teams, ping it onto OneNote, ping it onto your OneDrive, wherever you usually share your work. And now you've got evidence of the work that you've been doing. So I'm going to stop there. We've had a little bit of fun today. I'm going to just, stop sharing my screen and ping myself back up to the top here. Have we had any comments coming in? Nobody's talking just yet, but that's no problem at all. I'm just going to share our survey. If you've discovered something new today and you've been inspired to create something using the tools that we've shown you, please do let us know at the feedback survey just in here. And you can also contact us at our Twitter handles. So we've got at TA Scotland and at Niall Ridgway. So please do tag us in anything that you create. I really would love to see some of your creations. We do have another session happening in just 12 minutes. Pam is going to be having a look at English and how you can incorporate some of the Microsoft 365 tools into your English lessons and just get creative using some of the Microsoft 365 tools. So, and how you can kind of embed them into your learning and teaching, as we've done so today. So we've used external websites, but we've incorporated them into Microsoft 365. So thank you very much to everybody who has joined us today. Keep an eye out for our future sessions and go back and watch the other sessions if you're interested. My name's been Niall, and yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you. I'm just going to share the outro, and yeah, I'll speak to you all again soon. Cheers. Bye.